Hello and welcome to quiz class. Today we have 100 questions on public figures. So let's get started with question number 1. For how many years was Neville Chamberlain the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom? 3, 4, or 5 years? Three years. What was the Enheduanna of ancient Mesopotamia considered to have been? A sculptor, a writer, or a dancer? A writer. What did American Robert Fulton create in the 19th century? Steamboat, rowing machine, or wakeboard? A steamboat. What area of science was 15th century to 16th century polymath Nicholas Copernicus working on? Astronomy, chemistry, or biology? Astronomy. In which U.S. state was aviator Amelia Earhart born on July 24, 1897? Tennessee, Oklahoma, or Kansas? Kansas. Which 20th century criminal was nicknamed Scarface? Frank Nitti, Johnny Torrio, or Al Capone? Al Capone. Where did merchant and explorer Marco Polo hail from? Milan, Naples, or Venice? Venice. What was 19th century activist Harriet Tubman a member of? The Underground Railroad, the Quaker movement, or the Tea Party? The Underground Railroad. What did Dr. Robert Koch not discover the causative agents of? Pneumonia, cholera, or tuberculosis? Pneumonia. What area has 21st century explorer Jessica Watson specialized in? Ocean, mountains, or Arctic? Ocean. In which parish of Barbados was musician and business mogul Rihanna born on February 20th, 1988? Christchurch, St. Michael, or Bridgetown? St. Michael. Who was activist Ella Baker an advisor and strategist to in the 1960s? Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, Southern Christian Leadership Conference, or Congress of Racial Equality? Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. What design area from the 20th century is Frank Gehry known for? Architecture, interiors, or landscapes? Architecture. Who said, "Of all the talents bestowed upon men, none is so precious as the gift of oratory"? Winston Churchill, Benito Mussolini, or Joseph Stalin? Winston Churchill. Which technology company did Jeff Weiner start in 2008? Snapchat, Discord, or LinkedIn? LinkedIn. For which sport is Sachin Tendulkar known? Cricket, athletics, or diving? Cricket. Which technology did Frederick McKinley Jones invent in the 20th century? Mobile refrigeration, sound recording, or home insulation? Mobile refrigeration. In which country was actress and producer Charlize Theron born on August 7, 1975? South Africa, the Netherlands, or the USA? South Africa. How many times was Indian activist Mahatma Gandhi nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize without ever winning? 0, 2, or 5? 5. Which British monarch reigned for 63 years and 216 days? Queen Victoria, Queen Elizabeth I, or Queen Elizabeth II? Queen Victoria. Which is not an original work by 19th century American poet Henry Wadsworth Longfellow? The Song of Hiawatha, Inferno, or Paul Revere's Ride? Inferno. What field was 20th century designer Dorothy Draper known for? Interior design, fashion design, or editorial design? Interior design. Which American thought leader and business coach wrote Awaken the Giant Within? Malcolm Gladwell, Jim Rohn, or Tony Robbins? Tony Robbins. Which act of corruption was former U.S. House of Representative member Joseph P. Coulter implicated in? Abscam, Congressional Post Office scandal, or Wed Tech? Congressional Post Office scandal. Who is the spouse of the lawyer-born Amal Alamuddin? George Clooney, Ben Stiller, or Matt Damon? George Clooney. Question 26. What area of philosophy did 20th century writer Simone de Beauvoir contribute to? Nihilism, relativism, or existentialism? Existentialism. In which television show did film director Ron Howard start his career? The Addams Family, The Twilight Zone, or The Outer Limits? The Twilight Zone. What led to 21st century figure Mackenzie Scott beginning her philanthropy work? Selling of Apple stock after leaving company, winning court case against Google for patent, or divorce and settlement from Jeff Bezos? Divorce and settlement from Jeff Bezos. Who did Prince Harry marry in 2018? Meghan Markle, Vogue Williams, or Pippa Middleton? Meghan Markle. Question 30. Which 20th century art movement did British artist David Hockney contribute to? Pop art, surrealism, or abstract expressionism? Pop art. Where was Yasser Arafat the former president of? Lebanon, Syria, or Palestine? Palestine. What did former U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt do while attending Harvard College? Rowing captain, youth ministry, or editor-in-chief of the Harvard Crimson? Editor-in-chief of the Harvard Crimson. What was scientist Stephen Hawking's family working as when he was born? Builders, writers, or physicians? Physicians. Who wrote the 95 Theses in the 16th century? Jan Hus, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, or Martin Luther? Martin Luther. Who was the big tuna in the 20th century American mob? Frankie Yale, Tony Accardo, or John Dillinger? Tony Accardo. Who was Robert the Bruce king of from 1306 to 1309? Scots, Irish, or Welsh? Scots. What did Edith Cavell contribute in World War I? Spying, nursing, or education? Nursing. What was Dr. William Stewart Halstead the modern father of? Microbiology, virology, or surgery? Surgery. How many British expeditions to Antarctica did Sir Ernest Henry Shackleton lead? 1, 2, or 3? 3. What type of engineer was Guglielmo Marconi? Civic, electrical, or chemical? Electrical. Question 41. Where was 20th century and 21st century musician Carlos Santana born and raised? Nicaragua, Mexico, or Cuba? Mexico. Which 20th century activist and lawyer said she received Jane Crow prejudice while studying at Howard University? Audre Lorde, Pauli Murray, or Dorothy Height? Pauli Murray. What type of architecture was Eero Saarinen known for? Artistic, industrial, or domestic? Industrial. Whose I Have a Dream speech is considered the greatest oration of the 20th century? Malcolm X, John Lewis, or Martin Luther King Jr.? Martin Luther King Jr. Who is not a founder of the social media forum website Reddit? Elon Musk, Steve Huffman, or Alexis Ohanian? Elon Musk. Which sport was 20th century athlete Florence Griffith Joyner known for? Gymnastics, track and field, or rowing? Track and field. Which sport did the inventions of Gary Adams contribute to in the 20th century? Baseball, hockey, or golf? Golf. For which film has actress Margot Robbie not been nominated for an Academy Award? The Big Short, Bombshell, or The Wolf of Wall Street? The Big Short. What is the full name of South African and Australian novelist J.M. Coetzee? James Martin, Jeffrey Emmanuel, or John Maxwell? John Maxwell. Who was 18th century and 19th century writer and journalist William Godwin's spouse? Mary Wollstonecraft, Mary Shelley, or Mary Astle? Mary Wollstonecraft. What descent does film director and screenwriter Quentin Tarantino identify as having? Inuit, Oirat, or Cherokee? Cherokee or Cherokee. What is Madam C.J. Walker recorded as in the Guinness Book of World Records? First female self-made millionaire in America, youngest self-made millionaire in America, or beauty self-made millionaire in America? First female self-made millionaire in America. What did scientist Gertrude B. Elion win a Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine for in 1988? Vaccine research, rational drug design, or blood microbiology? Rational drug design. What was true of 18th century writer Percy Shelley? He was vegan, he was a warmonger, or he was reclusive? He was vegan. How did 16th century biblical scholar and linguist William Tyndale die? Self-immolation, betrayal and execution, or illness and decline? Betrayal and execution. Which empire was Ashoka the Great an emperor of? Magda Empire, Chola Empire, or Sasanian Empire? The Magadha Empire. What sport was 20th century American gangster Mickey Cohen involved in? Boxing, wrestling, or fencing? Boxing. Who founded the media organization WikiLeaks in 2006? Julian Assange, Edward Snowden, or Glenn Greenwald? Julian Assange. When was 19th century novelist Jane Austen revealed to be the author of her works? After the first novel was published, when there was critical acclaim, or after her death? Who discovered the substance later called penicillin in 1928? Ernst Chain, Sir Alexander Fleming, or Howard Walter Florey? Sir Alexander Fleming. What is the stage name of rapper and producer Sean Corey Carter? Jay-Z, Dr. Dre, or Snoop Dogg? Jay-Z. In which U.S. state was activist Bayard Rustin born on March 17, 1912? Pennsylvania, Connecticut, or New Hampshire? Pennsylvania. What animal fatally injured naturalist Steve Irwin on September 4th, 2006? Crocodile, snake, or stingray? Stingray. What is the heritage of journalist Christiane Amanpour? British Iranian, British Pakistani, or British Turkish? British Iranian. What was entrepreneur Richard Branson's first venture as a teenager in the 1970s? Delivery, magazine, or cooking? Magazine. What other area does 21st century professional boxer Conor McGregor specialize in? Yoga, fencing, or mixed martial arts? Mixed martial arts. What field of arts was Bernice Abbott a 20th century pioneer of? Screenwriting, makeup artistry, or photography? Photography. Which award gained actress Regina Key EGOT status in February 2023? Grammy, Tony, or Emmy? Grammy. What work led to Albert Einstein receiving the 1921 Nobel Prize in Physics? Photoelectric effect, nuclear fission, or relativity theory? Photoelectric effects. At which palace was Henry VIII born on June 28, 1491? The Palace of Westminster, the Palace of Valencia, or Richmond Palace? The Palace of Placentia. What did inventor Jacques Cousteau co-invent the aqualung for from 1942 to 1943? Naval missions, underwater documentary, or safety protocols? Underwater documentary. Who did Kamala Harris defeat in 2016 to become a United States Senator? Dianne Feinstein, Loretta Sanchez, or LaFonza Butler? Loretta Sanchez. Which film was Greta Gerwig's directorial debut? Lady Bird, Little Women, or Barbie? Lady Bird. What was inventor Alexander Graham Bell's heritage? Scottish, German, or Italian? Scottish. Who is the International System of Units Measurement of Magnetic Flux Density named after? Thomas Edison, Nikola Tesla, or Heinrich Hertz? Nikola Tesla. Who was the emperor of the Carolingian Empire from 800 until 814? Alexander the Great, Charlemagne, or Carloman I? Charlemagne. Which leader was killed by Indian agency police on the Standing Rock Indian Reservation on December 15, 1890? Crazy Horse, Red Cloud, or Sitting Bull? Sitting Bull. What was Karl Marx's nationality after 1845? Prussian in exile, stateless, or American? Stateless. Which sciences did Marie Curie specialize in? Physicist and chemist, chemist and biologist, or biologist and physicist? Physicist and chemist. Which United States Armed Services branch did Neil Armstrong serve before joining the NASA Astronaut Corps? Army, Navy, or Air Force? Navy. Which disease did virologist Frank Fenner announce the eradication of in 1980? Smallpox, leprosy, or polio? Smallpox. Question 82. Which film has composer John Williams not received an Academy Award for Best Original Score for? Jaws, Home Alone, or Star Wars? Home Alone. What religion was 19th century American activist Susan B. Anthony? Quaker, Roman Catholic, or Presbyterian? Quaker. Who was the chief engineer of the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco? Joseph Strauss, Irving Morrow, or Charles Alton Ellis? Joseph Strauss. Who was the co-recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize with the United Nations? Nelson Mandela, Condoleezza Rice, or Kofi Annan? Kofi Annan. Which actress did entrepreneur and aviator Howard Hughes date? Katharine Hepburn, Lauren Bacall, or Vivian Leigh? Katharine Hepburn. What sport did Michelle Kwan, the U.S. ambassador to Belize, retire from? Cross-country skiing, figure skating, or ice hockey? Figure skating. Where did George Mallory mountaineer in the 1920s? Denali, Mount Everest, or K2? Mount Everest. What are the creative duo Inez and Winoda known for? Photography, fashion styling, or film making? Photography. Who is Alexander Stubb as of March 1st, 2024? The President of Finland, the President of Belgium, or the President of Croatia? The President of Finland. Where was actor Jackie Chan born on April 7th, 1954? Shanghai, British Hong Kong, or Taiwan? British Hong Kong. For which novel did Ernest Hemingway win the Pulitzer Prize for Fiction in 1953 and the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1954? The Sun Also Rises, A Movable Feast, or The Old Man and the Sea? The Old Man and the Sea. What did inventor Elijah J. McCoy patent in 1972? Automatic lubricator for steam engines, drum engine for washing machines, or automatic home cooling systems? Automatic lubricator for steam engines. Who is 19th century philanthropist and industrialist Jamsetji Tata regarded as? Father of Indian commerce, father of Indian economy, or father of Indian industry? Father of Indian industry. Question 95. Who was the child abducted in the Lindenberg kidnapping on March 1st, 1932? Charles Augustus Lindbergh Jr., Christopher Augustus Lindbergh Jr., or Caesar Augustus Lindbergh Jr.? Charles Augustus Lindbergh Jr. Who was appointed to the position of editor-in-chief of British Vogue on April 10, 2017? Anna Wintour, Edward Enninful, or Karine Reutefeldt? Edward Enninful. Which shipbuilder built the Titanic? Sir Edward James Harland, Robert Napier, or Thomas Andrews? Thomas Andrews. Which 20th century scientist is referred to as the Sylvia Plath of microbiology? Rosalind Franklin, Grace Hopper, or Gertrude Bell? Rosalind Franklin. Who was the first woman to be awarded the Polar Medal in 1986? Ginny Fines, Yunko Taibei, or Louise Boyd? Ginny Fines. Who was the lady with a lamp in 19th century healthcare? Clara Barton, Elizabeth Blackwell, or Florence Nightingale? Florence Nightingale. Bonus question. Which writer introduced the world to James Bond in 1953? Let us know the answer in the comments, along with your score. Thanks for playing this quiz. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.